January 18th, 1879.
In 1879,
a woman nearly 8
Anna
feet
Haining
tall
Bates
collapses
went
into labour.
eyes.
When her water breaks,
broke,
6
she
gallons
lost
of fluid flood the
6
room.
gallons of fluid.
The doctor watches in horror as he realises something terrifying. The baby inside is so massive, his medical instruments are completely useless.
Large. In fact,
what happens
she
next
was
became one of the most heartbreaking moments in medical history. But before we dive into this devastating story, if you're fascinated by the hidden tales that shaped our world, smash that subscribe button right now for History Exposed TV.
Some sources
we uncover the
suggest
shocking
that the
truths that
newborn
textbooks
weighed
won't tell you.
13 pounds.
Hit the notification bell so you never miss our next mind-blowing story.
By the time she reached the age of 15, she
now,
was 7 feet
let's journey
tall.
back to where this tragedy began. The birth of a giant. August 6th,
Although it was never officially
1846.
diagnosed, Turn releases
Nova Scotia,
excessive
Canada.
amounts of growth hormone.
2 Scottish immigrants, Angram and Alexander Swan,
And
cradle
typically
their newborn
have a
daughter.
significantly shorter
This child,
lifespan.
Anna Haining Swan, enters the
But
world
though
weighing an
Anna
astonishing
was
18
life in
pounds,
store for her,
more than twice the
Anna's
weight of typical
family was
newborns.
sympathetic to her unique
Her childhood
condition.
defied every
Father
expectation.
Built a larger one
By age 4,
hand
Anna towered
to
at 4 feet
accommodate
6
her
inches.
needs.
At
He
6 years old, she surpassed her own
12
mother's height of
siblings.
5 feet 5 inches.
Unfortunately, he
When she
couldn't.
celebrated her 15th birthday, Anna stood at a staggering 7 feet tall
As
and still
news
growing.
spread of this giant
Medical
little
experts
girl,
would later
Annalise
determine that
Farm in
Anna
the
suffered
hopes
from
of catching
gigantism,
a glimpse of her.
a rare condition triggered by a tumour on the pituitary gland.
One paper
This
even
tumour
referred
floods
to
the
her
body with
as
excessive
an
growth
infant
hormone,
giantess,
causing bones and tissues to
curiosity,
expand at dangerous
and her
rates.
family saw an
People
opportunity.
with this condition rarely live full lives, their bodies
Some
betraying them with each
financial
passing
support.
year.
As
A father's
farmers,
love in a
they were
cruel
certainly
world.
no strangers
Anna's
to
father
putting
understood
their...
his daughter faced an uphill battle. When her elementary school
Since
desk
she
became
kept
impossibly
growing, she
small,
frequently
he built a
required
custom
new
one by
clothing
hand,
and Anna
ensuring
to
she could
work.
learn
By
alongside her 12
touring around
siblings.
local fairs
He constructed
as
an
attraction,
oversized bed so she could sleep
she was
comfortably.
safe at all times.
But no amount of parental love could shield Anna from society's cruel
In her
curiosity.
youth, she
Word
often
spread
cared
across
for
Nova
her
Scotia
younger
about the
siblings
infant
and tried to
giantess.
occupy her time
Strangers
with
flocked
readings.
to the Swan family farm,
So,
desperate
although
to
her
glimpse this
experience
extraordinary
wasn't
child.
common, she
Local
did her
newspapers
best
published
toward a
sensational
very
articles,
normal dream.
turning a young girl into a
Sadly,
spectacle.
it was doomed
The
from
family
the
needed
beginning.
money, and Anna's unique condition
teacher.
presented an unconventional
But while
opportunity.
staying with her aunt
Swans
and
made a difficult
attending
decision.
school,
They would tour Anna at local
she
fairs
found
as
the
an attraction,
classrooms
while some
physically
accused them of
constricting because of
exploitation.
her size.
Historians
And
largely
of
agree the
course,
family
people
genuinely
ended
protected their
her
daughter while
teaching
navigating
aspirations.
impossible circumstances.
But thankfully,
Despite her
greater
unusual
things
childhood,
were in store.
Anna harbored
In
ordinary dreams.
1862, she
She devoured
relocated
books,
to America
studied diligently,
and took a
nurtured one
job
particular
in the
ambition,
PTI
becoming a teacher.
There she
While living with
received
her aunt and
tutoring
attending
and
school,
learned how
she
to
discovered
sing
this dream
and
would
play
remain
piano,
forever out of
many
reach.
of which were unheard of at
Classrooms
the
physically
time.
constrained her massive
She
frame.
received
Fellow
$23
students
a
gawked and
week
whispered,
in income
making her
from
feel like an outsider in
pictures
her own
sold of
life.
her likeness.
Teaching was
Remarkably
impossible.
for the time, her
But destiny had something far greater in store. Barnum's Museum.
during
had a
her
new beginning.
tenure at the museum,
In
as
1862,
in Q&A formats
legendary
to
showman
detail her
P.T. Barnum
experiences
heard whispers of
as
the
one
Nova
of the
Scotian
tallest
giantess.
women known for her.
He
As
dispatched
she
an
got
agent
to
to recruit
control
the
her
16-year-old
narrative
Anna for his
instead of
American
merely
museum in New York
being
City.
a freak.
The offer was
It's
revolutionary.
1865
Anna would
and
earn
Barnum's
$1,000
museum
monthly,
is ablaze, and one
equivalent
of the
to roughly
most Anna
$23 per
is
week
in
in
the midst
gold or
of it.
$500 in today's currency. Barnum provided private tutoring for 3 hours daily.
Is far too large
Most
to fit
remarkably,
through a
Anna
window.
retained rights to her own image
Somehow
and
with
likeness,
ape.
allowing her to profit from photographs sold to
Heroically, she
audiences.
had helped others escape
At Barnum's
before
Museum,
her.
Anna transformed from curiosity to celebrated performer. She portrayed dramatic characters like
By
Lady
most
Macbeth,
accounts, also
sang for
physically
audiences,
different,
played piano,
she became
and
fast
participated in
friends
question and
and
answer
formed
sessions where she
bonds with
controlled her
them
own
very
narrative.
friends with
For
one
the
of the
first
most
time, Anna
famous
wasn't just a
royals
spectacle.
of the time.
She was an artist.
Anna
She toured
rounds
extensively
all
across
over
Europe
Europe
and the United
the
States, her
United
fame
States.
reaching unprecedented
In
heights.
1863
In
in
1863,
Europe, and the
while
two
performing in
became
England, Anna met Queen
unlikely
Victoria
friends.
herself. The two women
Numerous
formed an unlikely
proposals,
but genuine
but
friendship
because of
that
her
would later
career
prove
as a
deeply
performer,
meaningful.
she chose to
Flames and
decline
fortune,
those off
New
genuine,
York City.
or just wanted her money.
Barnum's museum erupts in
But
one
then
of the
she
most
met a
catastrophic
man
fires
who
the
made
city's
her
ever witnessed.
Burkus in Halifax.
Anna is
Anna
trapped
couldn't
inside.
help but spot
Flames
Martin
devour the
van
stairwell.
Buren
At
Bay.
nearly 400 pounds and approaching 8
Naturally,
feet tall,
Martin
she cannot
spotted
fit through
Anna
any window.
too, and so did a
Panic
promoted
spreads as staff
Martin in
realise Anna will perish unless
1871
they act
in
immediately.
London, after the
18
couple
people
fell
rushed to her
madly
aid,
in love
carrying her
and
massive
issued,
frame
and
towards
grieved
safety.
for the rest of her
But
life.
here's what most
But her
historians
personal
overlook.
loss didn't
Anna
diminish her. He
refused to leave
gifted
until
her
she
a
helped
bridal
others
gown
escape
that was
first.
made of 100
Her
meters of
heroism
satin,
nearly cost her
and
everything.
50 to take
Every
place at the
possession
church
she owned.
of St. Martin
Clothing,
in the
jewellery,
Fields,
mementos.
to
burned to
Buckingham
ashes.
Palace after receiving an
She survived.
invitation from the Queen to visit,
But she lost it all.
and received a
Love
dowry.
between giants.
Together, the couple
Through her
later went
travels,
on to
Anna
meet with the
befriended
Queen
fellow
at
performers who
least
lived with
twice
physical
more. A
differences.
year after marrying, Anna and her
Intelligence
new
and
husband
kindness grew
purchased a
people to
farm
magnetic
in
personality.
Ohio and the main
received
part of the
numerous marriage
structure had
proposals,
unique
but declined them all.
specifications like tall ceilings
Uncertain
and
whether
wider
suitors
doors. But the
genuinely
couple
cared for her,
decided to
or
ensure
simply
that the
desired her
back
wealth.
part of their home was of
Then,
average size.
at a circus in Halifax, everything changed.
Anna was an animal lover.
Anna spotted him
She
across the
disapproved
tent.
of horse racing,
Martin Van
and in
Buren Bates, a man
1872,
standing
still
nearly 8 feet tall
newlyweds,
himself.
Anna and her husband
Martin, a
conceived
former
their
Confederate
Fergie.
captain from Kentucky. had joined the circus after the Civil War devastated his home.
On May 9, Pounds died
Anna,
at birth.
He had learned to navigate life
6
as a
years
giant in
later,
the world
Anna
built for
became
small
pregnant
people.
with Butterbroke,
Their
and she
eyes met.
reportedly lost 6
Recognition
gallons of
flickered
fluid.
between them.
She was in
Two
for an
souls who
to a
understood struggles
disturbing
no one else could
realization.
comprehend. They toured
Anna's
together,
baby was so
fell deeply
big
in love,
for the child
and on
into
June
the world
17,
that they placed a
1871,
bandage around its neck
they married in
and
London
pulled,
before a massive
like
crowd
an
of onlookers.
ordinary child of 6
A
months.
Daily Telegraph article
But
captured the
tragically,
moment.
this was another
A man may
doom
get used
for
to being
being
8
the
feet high,
largest newborn
but to be
ever
8 feet
recorded.
high and to be stared
The
at
loss
by a
of the
devout
second
congregation of
child
idlers
withdrew
on the
from
occasion of
social
marrying a
life
lady
to
who was
cope
8
with
feet
her
high
pain.
also was a trying conjunction of matters.
Although she later
Queen Victoria, still mourning the
Anna
loss of
and
her
her
Prince
husband
Albert,
decided
found
to
joy
live
in
a
their love
quieter
story.
of
He
1880,
gifted
Anna
a
spent her
wedding gown
time
crafted from
solely
100
on
meters
the
of satin
farm,
and 50 meters
and
of
she
lace,
and Martin
embroidered
became
with
very
orange
struggled
blossoms.
with
The
tuberculosis
Queen
and
also presented
thyroid
Anna with a
issues.
diamond ring, and
Anna
Martin with a
died
gold
from
watch.
heart failure before her
Victoria even
42nd
arranged for their ceremony
birthday.
to take place at the Church of St. Martin in the Fields. The couple visited
Kneeling
Buckingham
on
Palace
her
multiple
grave
times,
to honour
their
her.
friendship with the Queen deepening with each
A
encounter.
year later, he
Building a
remarried
home.
and moved.
After purchasing a farm in
However,
Ohio,
when
Anna and
Martin
constructed
died
a house
in
accommodating their extraordinary
1919,
statures.
he was
They
buried
designed
next
tall
to
ceilings and wide doorways.
To this day,
commissioning
Seville,
custom
Ohio
furniture throughout the
continues
main
to remember
structure.
Anna and her
Thoughtfully,
information
they built the
about
back
their
portion
life
with average
together.
dimensions to ensure
In
servants and
Halifax,
guests
there's
felt
also a
comfortable.
museum dedicated
Anna, an animal
specifically
lover who
tours for
disapproved of horse
visitors.
racing, transformed their farm into a
Throughout her
sanctuary
life,
for
Anna
retired
was
circus
often
animals.
presenting before
For a brief
getting
moment,
quite
life seemed
that
peaceful.
large, but she
The tragedy
certainly
was
came
lurking.
close
The
at
heartbreak
7 feet,
begins.
realized the
Anna
attraction
discovers
it
she's
shows.
pregnant. Hope
The
and fear
exaggeration of
intertwine
her
as
height
she and
often
Martin
became.
wonder what their child will be like.
Records obtained
May
from
19,
the British Library
1872.
show
Anna gives
posters
birth
from
to
the
a baby
day's
girl
world
weighing 18
and
pounds.
received top
The
billing
infant never
over
takes a
Chang
breath.
and Eng.
She is still
The
born.
original
Anna's
Siamese
grief is
placement
immeasurable.
above
6
them
years
as
later, hope
headliner
returns.
continues
She's
to
pregnant
serve as a
again. The most
reminder
devastating
that she.
day. January 18th, 1879. Anna's water breaks, releasing approximately 6 gallons
Thanks
of fluid.
stories and history,
Labor
hit
begins,
like
and the
and
hours stretch
subscribe
into agony.
to keep
The
exploring
attending
with us.
physician realizes
Don't
with
forget
mounting horror
incredible
that this baby is
facts
beyond any
about
size he's
everything.
encountered. His forceps cannot fit around the infant's head. In desperation, they wrap a bandage
In
around the baby's neck and pull.
1879, Anna
After an
Haining Bates
excruciating
went
delivery,
dies.
a baby boy enters the
When her
world.
water
He weighs
broke,
22
she
pounds.
lost
He
6
measures 28
gallons of
inches long.
fluid.
Each of his feet spans 6 inches. Martin would later describe him as having the appearance of a perfect 6-month-old at birth.
Some people are just
For
very
11 hours, their
large.
son lives.
In
And he
fact,
dies.
she was one of the
baby,
tallest
known
people
simply as
who
Babe,
ever lived.
posthumously received the Guinness World Record as both the heaviest and longest newborn ever recorded.
And Alexander
record that
Swan,
still stands
2
today.
immigrants from
The
Scotland,
final years.
have just
Anna
welcomed their
spiraled into
3rd
profound
child.
depression after
Some
losing her
sources
second child.
suggest
She
that the
attempted to return
newborn
to
weighed
touring but couldn't
13
continue.
pounds.
The joy had vanished from her life.
And by the time she reached
She
the
and
age
Martin
of
retreated
15,
to their
she
Ohio
was
farm,
7 feet tall.
seeking solace in
And
quiet
still,
existence. They became heavily involved with their local Baptist
although it
church
was never
during the late
officially
1870s.
diagnosed, Turn releases
By spring of
excessive amounts
1880,
of growth
Anna
hormone.
focused entirely on farm life, caring for her beloved
Individuals
animals.
typically have a
But her body,
significantly
strained by
shorter
gigantism
lifespan.
and 2 devastating childbirths,
But though
was
Anna
failing.
has life in store for
August
her,
5th, 1888.
Anna's family was
One day
sympathetic
before
to her
42nd
unique
birthday,
condition.
Anna Haining
Father
Bates died
built a
peacefully in her
larger
sleep
one
from
by
heart failure,
hand to
complicated by
accommodate her
tuberculosis and
needs.
thyroid problems.
He also comfortable
Martin erected a
as her
monument at her
12
grave,
siblings.
a statue of a Greek
Unfortunately,
goddess
he
imported from Europe
couldn't.
to honor her memory. A year later, he remarried
As
and moved
news
from their
spread
home
of
so his
this
average-sized
giant
second
little
wife could
girl,
live comfortably.
Emily's farm, in the hopes
When
of
Martin died
catching
in
a glimpse of
1919,
her.
he was buried beside Anna and their baby boy.
Local one paper
Legacy of
even
a Giant.
referred to her
Today,
as an
Seville,
infant
Ohio maintains an exhibit
giantess,
dedicated to Anna
curiosity,
and Martin Bates,
and
featuring
her
artifacts
family
and
saw
detailed
an
information about their
opportunity.
extraordinary lives.
Some
In Halifax,
financial
the museum
support.
specifically
As
honors
farmers, they were
with her
certainly no
descendants still
strangers
involved
to
in
putting
curating
their.
exhibits and guiding tours. Throughout her
Since
career,
she kept
Anna
growing,
was
she
advertised
frequently
as
required
standing over
new
8 feet
clothing
tall.
and Anna to
In
work.
reality,
By
she
touring
reached
around
7
local
feet 11
fairs
inches,
as an attraction,
just shy of that
she was
threshold,
safe
but
at
no
all
less
times.
remarkable. Promoters exaggerated her height to
In her
sensationalize
youth,
the attraction.
she often
a common
cared for her
practice that
younger
followed her
siblings
even
and tried
into
to
newspaper
occupy her
records.
time with
Historical
readings.
documents from the British
So,
Library
although her
reveal
experience
promotional
wasn't
posters billing
common,
Anna as the
she did
largest
her
woman in
best
the
toward
world.
a very
She
normal
received
dream.
top billing above
But sadly,
Chang and Eng,
it was
the
doomed
original
from the
conjoined
beginning.
twins who were massive
A
celebrities
teacher.
in London at the time.
But while staying with her
Anna's
aunt
placement
and
as
attending
headliner
school,
demonstrates just how
she
powerfully
found the
captivated
classrooms
audiences.
physically
She lived as a
constricting
giant
because
in
of her
stature and
size,
spirit,
and of
intelligent,
course, people
kind,
ended her
heroic,
teaching
and deeply
aspirations. But
Her story
thankfully,
reminds us that
greater
behind every
things were in
spectacle is
store.
a
In
person who loved,
1862, she
dreamed,
relocated
suffered,
to
and endured.
America and took a
Anna Haining
job in
Bates
the
deserves to be
PT
remembered
test.
not just as a curiosity,
There she received
but as a woman of
tutoring
courage
and learned how
grace
to
who faced
sing and
impossible
play
odds.
piano, many of
If
which
this
were
story moved
unheard
you,
of at
don't
the
keep it to
time.
yourself.
She
Hit
received
that like button right
$23
now
a
and
week
share this
in
video
income
with
from
someone who loves real
pictures sold
history.
of her likeness.
Subscribe to
Remarkably
History
for the
Exposed
time,
TV
her
and ring that notification bell. We're uncovering forgotten stories
During her
every single
tenure
week
at the
that will blow your
museum,
mind.
and Q&A formats to detail her experiences as one of the tallest women noted for her, as she got to control her narrative instead of merely being
history
a freak.
isn't just facts and dates.
It's 1865
It's the lives of
and
real
Barnum's
people who shaped
museum
the
is
world we know
ablaze
today.
in one of the most